Tesla, guys, is, again, in the pre-market. If we look at this, it is basically slightly lower, it looks like. The stock had that little bounce on earnings yesterday. I still have it going down to 360. I think, again, even the lack of big move on earnings yesterday, eventually this comes back in here. And then we have to see, maybe it breaks this level. But 360 is kind of my game plan for where I'm going to say I'm in this as a short with members of Smart Money Stocks right now. And I'm going to look to take profits around that 360 level.
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. Join Gareth Soloway as he unpacks the early crash of crypto markets, revealing how tariff fears sparked a wave of panic selling. Watch as he deciphers Bitcoin's reaction and uncovers key market trends you won't want to miss.
Let's jump in. We could take a look. The S&P 500 is trading slightly higher this morning. The PCE data did come out. It actually came out exactly as forecast. So there was no surprise whatsoever here on the data. All right, so again, expectations for PCE were 2.6% year over year. That's exactly where it came out. Month over month was expected to be 0.3%, and that's where it came out. Now, the way you tell if expectations were met by the market for the data is you look at the candle. Was there any major move up or down after this data was released at 8:30? And we can see there was a little gyration, and we're literally going sideways at that point. That tells us there was no surprise in the data. The market anticipated, the forecast was correct here for these numbers. Now, again, many people will say, oh, but it's fake numbers and all this. It doesn't matter. And I always remind myself of that because I often think the numbers are fudged as well. But the answer is, if you're a trader or a swing trader, you don't care. Like, you're not focused on these fake numbers that will eventually be revealed in 20 years from now. Heck, I want to make money today. I want to make money this second on the market. And so therefore, I need to go with what the reaction is in the market. Always remember that, guys. All right. So let's take a look here quickly. If we go to the daily chart, this is something I'm watching. So we had the big gap down on Monday on the S&P. This is the Spiders chart, the tracking ETF daily chart for the S&P. And then we rallied the rest of the week. We had a small pullback on Wednesday, up day on Thursday, and we are trading up on Friday. Couple levels that I'm watching very closely today. There's a gap fill right here at 607.90. We're very close in the pre-market to that. If we flip over to the intraday, you can see this is that line right there. See the yellow line? This line. So essentially pre-market, we are filling that gap. That will be resistance. So we're right up there. If we get through that today or next week, we start focusing on the double top line and the upsloping channel line. Let me extend it out a little bit more here so we can see. So this will be resistance. We haven't confirmed above it. We pierced and closed above. We never confirmed. As you can see, the market rejected it, and it came back down sharply. This, again, has to be confirmed above. And if we do, we then look to this level as our next resistance, which is around 612 currently. 612, that's about 6,120 on the S&P 500. All right. So again, very clear what we have. And even if we take away this double top line right here, here was that parallel channel we were trading in. We kind of broke it, retraced into it, rejected, retraced into it, pierced it, never got above and confirmed, rejected. Now we're coming up into that. That will be a level to watch.
Bitcoin's mempool, the queue where pending transactions wait to be processed, is currently practically empty, according to CryptoQuant's Julio Moreno. This is an unusual event, as Bitcoin's network is typically bustling with activity. The sharp drop in transactions has led to a significant decline in network fees, now at just 1 sat/BB, the lowest in months. Some Bitcoiners see this as a concerning sign, while others argue that it reflects the evolving nature of the network. Casa co-founder Jameson Lopp believes the empty mempool signals a decline in Bitcoin's sovereign usage, meaning fewer people are using it for direct transactions. Instead, many Bitcoin holders seem to be sticking to the HODL strategy, accumulating BTC and waiting for price appreciation rather than spending it. However, Lopp notes that the number of unspent transaction outputs, UTXOs, is also falling sharply, suggesting that fewer coins are moving into self-custody wallets. Some see this trend as a threat to Bitcoin's long-term sustainability. Bart Moll, host of the Satoshi Radio podcast, warns that Bitcoin's digital gold narrative may be harming its fundamental use case as a peer-to-peer currency. If people stop transacting with Bitcoin and only treat it as a store of value, the network's transaction-driven security model could weaken over time. On the other hand, Canadian developer Peter Todd sees the low on-chain activity as a sign of Bitcoin's growing efficiency. Many transactions that would have previously taken place on the Bitcoin blockchain are now happening on the Lightning Network, a second-layer solution designed for faster and cheaper payments. Since Lightning transactions don't appear on the main Bitcoin blockchain, this shift could explain the lower activity in the mempool. Whether this trend signals a problem or an evolution of Bitcoin's role in the financial system remains up for debate. What is clear, however, is that Bitcoin's network dynamics are changing, and how that impacts its long-term adoption is something the entire crypto community will be watching closely.
Next up, let's take a look at a couple other names here. So next week, we have Google and Amazon reporting, or Alphabet and Amazon reporting earnings. This is going to be really interesting because, again, I've showed you guys this before. This is the Alphabet daily chart. Topping tail, topping tail, topping tail, but, so those are bearish, right? Topping tails are bearish, but what type of pattern is this? It's an up move with bullish consolidation, right? That's a bull flag. So I'm getting mixed signals on this, and the key is this, guys, is that sometimes charts give you mixed signals. That's okay. What does it tell me to do? It tells me to sit my dang ass down and not get in a trade on it. I don't have a good enough read. When you get mixed signals, it's telling you that the probabilities are closer to 50-50. And so unless I get those 80, 75, 80% probabilities per my analysis, I'm not going to take the trade. Just going to sit on the sidelines. There's no need to force a trade. There's always another trade coming around the corner, as we always know. All right. And then Amazon, guys, this is an interesting one. I'm going to tell you why. If Amazon pops next week on earnings, I'm not sure which day they come out, to be honest, but it's either next week or the following week. But there's a major parallel, and if Amazon were to pop up into the high end of this parallel around 255, that would be my short right there. All right, that again to me would be a great parallel. Again, the lows, and then using this highest point here, that would be an opportunity. Aside from that, I don't have much else of a signal here. There's kind of a mixed bag, just like Google/Alphabet. So again, it would need to pop into this level, and then I would potentially take that short trade. All right, let's go to Bitcoin here, guys, and go over our Bitcoin chart. Let me take a look at the Coinbase chart. Right now, Bitcoin is basically flat on the year, or on the day, I should say. We got that PCE data still showing up there. But this is my pivot line. As long as Bitcoin remains below this pivot line, the downside is the more favorable. If it closes above, then you're headed into this zone here, 108 to 111. But as long as you stay below here, notice how ever since I drew this in, low to the low, to the low, to the low, and then it got below, then you kissed it, you hit it, you pierced it, but you're still closing the day below it. That means it's having trouble there. Again, the charts just tell you that by the way it closes below each day. So watch this. Let's see what happens today. Does it end up pushing above and closing above, or does it stay below? Right now, based purely on data and probability, the probabilities are slightly favoring a downside move. Now, just news I was seeing is MicroStrategy raises another $565 million to buy more Bitcoin. Man, are they levering up? Amazing. They are just pumping out, raising capital left and right. Hopefully it works out for them. My biggest fear, again, is that at some point, Bitcoin has a history of 50% corrections or greater. If that ever happens, MicroStrategy's in a lot of trouble. But as long as Bitcoin just keeps grinding up and going higher, they'll be golden, and they will be essentially the Bitcoin reserve company out there. I mean, they hold a massive amount of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy's chart, by the way, taking a look, it honestly is just chopping here. In terms of a level, you want to see a level here. This is your level. You do not want MicroStrategies to close below this line at around 325, 326. If it closes below and confirms, it starts its next leg down. As long as it holds, it could trade up. You also have a trend line here, which is creating a wedge pattern. So this is basically telling us, wedge patterns tell us that price is being condensed and it may break one way or the other. And when it does, whichever way it breaks, it'll probably be a big move. So very clearly, if it breaks here, down you go. If it breaks here, up you go. And my guess, that's on the back of Bitcoin making a move. All right.
El Salvador made history in 2021 by becoming the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, a bold experiment that captured global attention. However, just over 2 years later, the nation has quietly scaled back its ambitious plans, removing Bitcoin's official status while allowing its continued use at an individual level. This shift comes amid mounting pressure from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which made limiting Bitcoin's risks a condition for approving a crucial $1.4 billion loan for the government. From the start, Bitcoin's adoption faced skepticism from Salvadorans, with surveys showing that 71% of the population rejected the move. Many feared the cryptocurrency's price volatility and questioned its practical use for daily transactions. Despite this opposition, the government pushed forward, investing over $200 million into infrastructure, such as the Chivo wallet and Bitcoin ATMs, aiming to integrate digital currency into the country's economy. Yet, concerns over transparency have persisted. While the government claims to hold over 6,000 Bitcoins, worth approximately $637 million, crucial details remain undisclosed. There is no clarity on whether Bitcoin has been sold, how profits, if any, have been used, or who manages these assets. This lack of accountability has fueled criticism, with many questioning the true financial impact of the initiative. The IMF has long warned that Bitcoin's adoption could pose risks to El Salvador's financial stability. The recent rollback of its legal tender status aligns with IMF demands, ensuring that Bitcoin's use remains voluntary while limiting government exposure. Lawmakers swiftly approved the reform, with 55 votes in favor and only 2 opposing, signaling a political shift away from the once celebrated crypto experiment. Now, with Bitcoin no longer a mandatory currency, the future of cryptocurrency in El Salvador remains uncertain. The government still holds a significant Bitcoin reserve, but its long-term plans are unclear. While El Salvador's Bitcoin gamble was a milestone in global finance, its retreat serves as a cautionary tale, underscoring the challenges of integrating digital assets into a national economy. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.